Blackwatch Report, your podcast covering all things Open Division and contenders, the path to pro for Overwatch League. And here are your hosts, Thorn Rain and Kyle Wynn. And welcome back for another episode of the Blackwatch Profiles. I'm your host, Thorn Rain, and with me, as always, my co-host, Mr. Kyle Wynn. How you doing this morning, Kyle?
Great. It is very bright and early here, but we had to make this work with the time differences being 12 and 11 hours, so...
Yes, we have a very special setup here. It is our first time ever doing a three-person interview, so I'm going to start with our first guest here, the founder of YaLLa Esports, Klaus. How are you doing this morning, or well, evening for you, Klaus?
Well, I'm doing fantastic, and yes, sorry about getting you up this early. I know gamers don't necessarily want to be up this early, but hey, we're literally on the other side of the planet, so we have to work with it.
Yes, we're doing that long distance interview. And our next guest here is DPS phenomenon, Ryan. How are you doing tonight, Ryan?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic. And then our last guest. Oh, no, thank you for joining us. Our last guest here is the flex tank for YaLLa Esports, Antigon. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. So we are going to kick this off, and I'm going to let Kyle take over our first question here.
Cool. So just kind of wanted to get a quick origin story on each one of you with kind of what games you started playing and what kind of got you to Overwatch. Like, did you play other esports before, or was Overwatch kind of the first major esport you played?
For me, I played CSGO and like a semi-pro level, maybe, like in the Mena community at least, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, as soon as Overwatch came out, first year, I just started grinding it.
Cool.
Well, me, I'm the old fart here. I'm like 32 years old now. I've been playing games since I was I don't know 10 years old. So I actually also started with Counter-Strike, but that was 1.6 was the peak. And I played like, let's say, professionally, but back in that day it was you got a mouse or something, and that that made you a pro in Counter-Strike. And other than that, I've been like on and off with games, but Overwatch definitely, let's say, hit the spot when it came out. And I mean, I've been playing it, but obviously, like I'm too old to play on a high level. I just troll in silver and gold, basically.
I know how you feel.
But for me, Overwatch is the first game for me.
Okay.
Fantastic. So our next question here is a little more focused on Overwatch. What was it about Overwatch that made you want to compete professionally? Not so much just be a casual player, but, look at competition out of it.
Well, when I first started, like, I just really enjoyed the variety in heroes, the differences, how each hero works, the teamwork in the game. Yeah, well, like, each player had like each map, each route, like different play styles and stuff. And then when it comes to teams, it's just really competitive and fun.
Yeah, and as an organization, like Overwatch definitely immediately when it came out, I saw the potential. Like this can be like a big game and a big esports. So definitely I like pretty much after the game was out, I started to exploring and finding talent in the Middle East region for the game.
Cool. What kind of comps can we see coming out of your region? So I know you guys are playing in EU, correct? Are you playing mostly tank comps, or do you kind of have your own, style or take on that kind of stuff?
Well, like EU is known for having tank comps, So and like we do play under EU, and we experience the EU teams. Right now, tank comp in EU is just really, really good. But maybe like with the third sniper coming out, I see a lot of teams in scrims running triple sniper. But like
Interesting.
specifically, there's not like a Mena comp, Like
Right,
all
right.
compositions in
Goats.
Mena is for EU.
Let's just be honest. Go.
Everybody loves
Oh, we
goats.
are losing. Go goats.
Too good right now. Maybe go to Doomfist since Brigade is getting nerfed, you know?
Yeah.
Some changes to goats.
So, speaking of Mina, I know I didn't find out about it until I saw Klaus actually talking about it in a Discord. Do you think that the Middle Eastern Overwatch community could support itself as its own region, or do you think that currently playing in EU is better for the players and organizations that are going to start coming out of the Middle Eastern region?
I mean, I'm sure like Mina has enough money to support itself, but it's not a good idea to like isolate ourselves, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like our community will be just like small, and then over time there's just gonna be one team that keeps dominating the scene. So it just gets dull and boring to watch. So it's not a good idea to isolate the scene, you know? Like you
Yeah.
can have a Danish tournament only, like a Danish scene or like a Finland scene only, but then over time it just gets boring to watch.
Yeah, we're
But
kind
maybe
of
like keeping EU is really good.
we're kind of seeing that out of South America. I mean, Brazil Gaming House just constantly dominating South America because it's not a huge region. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I definitely think that we we are going there maybe, but we shouldn't. We should just be like part of the EU scene, and I mean we just got the rights to even play in the contenders, and like basically path to pro like 2 years ago when we first ventured into Overwatch. There was literally no chance for Middle Eastern players to really show their talent. And even if we have the ping disadvantage and all these things, like at least now, okay, we can take that at disadvantage and still at least try to compete with other EU teams on an equal level.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, there'll be like no exposure for our scene. We just stick
Yeah.
in one scene.
Right. So Klaus, you mentioned briefly that you play like a little bit of Overwatch. Is it kind of are you mostly focused on just kind of the managerial side at the moment and you don't really play too much, or how much do you play? What do you think?
I mean, Overwatch is definitely one of my like favorite games. So when I play, I do play Overwatch a lot. Well, I mean that's one of the games that I play. But I mean, YaLLa Esports, it's it's a full-time 24/7 job. I mean, we have 30 plus players, and managing everything from the players to sponsors and so on. So unfortunately, there is not that much time to play. But sometimes.
And then for Ryan and Antigon, what were the things that kind of drew you to the roles that you play right now? What drew you to DPS and what drew you to Flex?
Well, as flex tank, I used to be a flex DPS player, but then in our scene we lacked like a good off tank. I was like, why not just be an off tank main and roll like every other off tank, you know? So I just did that, and now I mean I'm confident of myself being number one off tank in Mino. But yeah, that's mostly why.
Cool.
I think the DPS role is the most high skill and fun to play. So I chose to play DPS. It's like more fun, and you can compete and you can learn a lot of stuff. You can do with DPS.
Okay.
So, what would you guys say are like your favorite players in those, or favorite characters in those roles to play?
To me, it's Zarya, 100%. Oh, you know,
We do
like
make-
as an off tank player, you have to play Diva. She's just too good to not
Yeah.
play. Got to keep the same Diva in every team composition.
Gone are
yeah.
the days of playing Zarya as an off tank.
Yeah, Zarya's a flex DPS now.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan? What's your
My
favorite
first
hero?
guy is Widowmaker, of course. Like,
Okay.
he looks good. She sounds good. She everything.
Fair enough.
Everybody loves a sniper.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, what was your guys' initial reaction to the ban when the contenders rules first came out, saying that teams in your region and players in your region weren't going to be allowed to participate in the Path to Pro series of tournaments?
I mean, It's really demotivating. Makes you want to quit and go to like a different game that actually cares about your scene.
Hmm.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it just made it really demotivating. Then there's little tournaments, but in Mena, and they started getting more. So maybe quitting wasn't a good choice because there's actually still tournaments going on.
Right. And then what about when the ban was lifted? Was that just kind of like now you have a reason and you're like excited? Or?
Yeah, that motivates a player again. You
Mhm.
just want to grind more. You wanna actually like put your name out there so that Blizzard cares about your scene.
Right.
Yep.
Cool. And then
We're having just a
what
little
is
bit of
your?
technical. Oh, there we go.
He's back.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Not a problem. I don't know. Were you able to hear that last question, Klaus?
Probably not.
So what was your reaction when you first heard about the ban of the Middle Eastern region in the Contenders and Path to Pro series?
Well, that was obviously not like not very pleasant. I mean, that was when they announced all these contenders and stuff, and Overwatch League for that matter. You know, we were excited. You know, like our goal was like maybe we can get one player to the Overwatch League, whatever. And then all of a sudden we find out that it's you know it's not even possible, like not allowed. And we were like, we didn't really understand like why, and nobody really gave a real reason, in my opinion, like why it is so, you know. And even to kind of you know to throw salt in the wounds, the same year it just happened so that UAE placed the 33rd in the World Cup qualifiers, when you know the top 32 countries made it to the playoffs. So then obviously everybody started to like tell that, oh yeah, like it was tampered, the scores, like we actually were in, like, but then they made sure that we are the 33rd, like outside the brackets, because we're not allowed anyway, and blah blah blah. Like I mean, I'm not saying that was the case, but you know, let's say the timing of everything and all the coincidences was really bad.
Mhm.
So it definitely was like a negative spin around the whole thing for like a good few months. And I think it honestly, like, it hit Overwatch as a game in the region. Many players were like, well, whatever, like I'll go back to grind Counter-Strike or something. I mean, what's the point?
Now, you were actually the reason that I found out that the ban had been lifted, because I actually found out the day before it was announced. What was your reaction when you found out that you were going to be able to start playing in the region or in Contenders?
Well, that was amazing, and I mean, like when it actually went official, and there was like a bit of rumors before, and that was like once I started like hearing that, oh, things are happening, and then I, you know, I was like, okay, I want a team. And that's when then obviously I found the amazing boys with Antigon and Ryan and the company. And I was like, you know, now I'm super pumped to be focusing on Overwatch again, because like when YaLLa Esports started, Overwatch was actually, it was like our main game. And that was really how we kind of, you know, break through as a team. So I'm super excited now that we have the support in the Middle East, and that we have a team again to like work with.
The best team.
The best team.
Like,
Like, yeah, I'm dropping again. Sorry, guys.
Okay. So for each one of you, who's your favorite like Overwatch League player that you'd like to play against eventually, or like what team would you eventually like to play for?
Jijonak.
For
From
me,
Quebec,
Effect,
so.
of course.
Sorry, who?
Effect from Dallasfield.
Mm,
Effect.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
I mean, I would probably. I'm from Finland originally, so I would like to have a duel with Mr. Aim Taimu, I think.
Oh.
You probably win.
So, Do you look to any specific players in your current role to kind of like draw from? I know, Ryan, you were talking about Effect. Is there anybody that you kind of model your play after, or that you kind of pull tips from in watching VODs from, or anything like that?
Yeah, of
I
course.
mean,
Effect. Go ahead, Antigon.
go ahead. Oh, okay. Well,
Go
for
ahead.
me, like as Zarya, I learned a lot from Poco.
Mm.
I mean, no, from Diva, I learned a lot from Poco. From Zarya, I learned a lot from Cafe. Like I can say I'm friends with him. You know,
Mhm.
I used to
Mhm.
1v1 him in comp and stuff. Like I get in the game, he tells me Antigon goes Zarya, who farms more grabs and stuff. Yeah, like I look up to people that are better than me always to improve.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, I'm as I said, I play, you know, in gold. So I really,
Yeah.
I mean, I try to copy Antigon. That's my star at the moment, you know.
Perfect.
Cool. And then so Klaus, you mentioned that you do you run YaLLa Esports as like a full-time job, so you don't have any other side hustles or any other day jobs or whatever.
No, I mean, this been now for 2 years. I mean, I used to DJ like for 10 years as my full-time job, and then when I started YaLLa Esports 2 years ago, I still DJ'd like a bit, but then it kind of became more and more gaming and less DJing, and now I'm not DJing anymore at all. I still get bookings, but I'm always like, guys, like I haven't, you know, done it for a long time. Like, you know, I can come and play some games.
Interesting. Cool. What about the Ryan and Antigon? Are you guys full-time players, or do you have jobs in school?
I mean, I go
Yeah,
to
we
school,
have.
but it doesn't really interfere with scrims and practice.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
actually like I sit on the computer like 8+ hours a day.
Who cares
I
about
have no,
school?
yeah, who cares about school?
I didn't say anything, so if their parents are watching, I had nothing to
So, with the Overwatch League growing, do you think that we could see a team represent? You said the UAE. That's the United Arab Emirates, correct?
Emirates,
Yep.
yes.
Mhm.
Do you think we could see a team representing the UAE? And what city or like area do you think would be the best to represent the region? And this is for all
Um,
three of you.
I mean, I think that, you know, they're definitely, why not like one team from the UAE and one team representing Saudi, and I mean, even like in the UAE, we can even have two teams, like one for Abu Dhabi, one from Dubai. I mean, there are great cities and great players and great countries in the Middle East. So why not?
I mean, definitely we can like buy a spot in Overwatch League if they like if the government wants to, but I don't think like Arab players are ready to like fill up a whole roster. Maybe make it to contenders. I mean, like if we have a Overwatch League team, it's probably gonna be like foreign players, you know, all over the
Yeah,
world, like Koreans probably. They're the best players.
It's
but
to be
that's
expected.
what they do everywhere.
Yeah.
But how
Yeah.
I would like realistically see it, though, I mean, I can totally see like players in a Overwatch League roster here, and then you kind of fill up the gaps with Koreans or whatever, like foreign players, until
Yeah.
the local player base kind of, you know, grows into it.
There's definitely good like Arab players, like mechanically, but they just
Yeah,
lack experience from contenders. So like jumping
Yeah.
over contenders to Overwatch League is
and
not a good idea.
and like boys don't like now get offended also, but many like here in the region lack the let's say professionalism and commitment, and you know, like
Yeah.
long-term working. I mean, I'm really happy with you guys, but like just in general, it's still, you know, everybody's learning here what it
They're gonna like
actually means
take
to
it as
be
a
a
job.
professional. Yeah, exactly, you know.
Most Arabs
So
play it as like a video game, you know. If you
yeah,
wanna make Overwatch League, you gotta like consider it a job more than a hobby.
Mhm.
Yeah.
exactly.
Cool. So, how long have you? Wait. Oh, that's. I guess. Do you want to take that one then?
Oh yeah, that we're gonna move down more into the team, the team focused area here. So how long has the core of the players been playing together?
Mm, about like, well, we
Five,
played.
6 months, I guess. Antigon.
Yeah, but we took a big break in between. So like when we
Yeah.
the core roster started in Power Esports, we had like a month and a half to practice for the Saudi regional tournament. We placed third, and then we stayed for another month after, and then just took a break for like maybe 2 weeks. But maybe like altogether like 4 months as a roster. Maybe 4 or 5 in between that.
Cool.
Cool. And then, how well have you all done in kind of in the local MENA tournament scene? Like, what's your record, or are you guys, up there, or are you still working on trying to be one of the top in the region?
I mean, back when we were in Power, maybe like we were the third best MENA team.
Okay.
Now you can say like either like the first or second, Still not determined. We have to play Oshtek first.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, because it's
I like the confidence.
it's very difficult to find any tournament results for anything out of the MENA region. I was trying to find stuff, but I wasn't able to.
Yeah.
I back in the days when we had the Overwatch roster, I tried to really push to get it all on Liquipedia, but obviously, like after we had like when I didn't have a roster like in Overwatch at YaLLa Esports, I didn't really update it too much. But now, hopefully, I'll get more active on that again. So there should be then info.
Perfect. Now, so Klaus, what was it about Power Esports that made you want to specifically sign them to YaLLa Esports?
Well, I remember first time. So I'm I'm a Lucio main kind of. I mean, it's a DJ and so on. That was kind of natural. Plus, you don't really need to aim to play Lucio, so that was a natural fit for my skill level. But then I saw Boostio play Lucio one time. Like it's actually like quite a long time ago, and I was like, okay, this dude, like he knows his stuff, So then Boostio, which is our Lucio player, support main, kind of became a personal favorite for me. And then actually our streamer Otter Panda, she kind of hinted to me that at Gamescom that these guys are looking for like organization, and then I dropped them a message, and it instantly clicked. I mean, I felt that the guys, they share the long-term goal, the commitment, their
Passion.
passion, and let's say the expectations. Like sometimes also people like here in the MENA, they look at what people are doing in the Europe, and they're like, oh yeah, I want also this full-time salary and this and that, all the benefits and perks, and like fly business class and whatnot. And then it's like, yeah, but like what do you play? And like we're not there yet. So when they're like the team's motivation versus the team's expectations and everything, it was just like a perfect match. Honestly, this is the most professional team that I have worked with in Overwatch in MENA by far, and we've been working for now like a month, I guess, and not even that probably, and we have seen like great results. I mean, well, you can boys tell me what happened today in the tournament, like 2 hours ago. I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that was right. You
played
guys had one this
against-
weekend, didn't you?
No,
like
we played
literally
against
2 hours ago.
Oh wow.
We played against like one of the strongest like upcoming OD teams that are all like full of contender players. We took one map but lost 1-2.
Okay.
And I mean, and that was in the
we've only been together for
semifinals.
2 weeks.
Yeah, semifinals.
Yeah, semifinals.
Yeah, of what, 32 man tourney? Was it 32 teams or 16?
32 teams, but there's like 50
32,
signed up.
yeah. So I mean, to me, like that was amazing compared to the fact that we've been working for less than a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 weeks approximately.
Yeah.
So do you guys all play in like the same area? Like, do you play in a team house, or are you guys like close enough to play in person occasionally, or are you guys all kind of remote around different areas?
I'm like the whole roster. Well, 4 of them
Yeah.
are from Saudi Arabia. I'm from UAE, and our main tank Henningsen is from Denmark. But I mean, it's like a 30-minute flight from me to Saudi Arabia, which like when there's a LAN or something, we just go there and play like gaming cafes before the tournament.
Okay.
But I think the rest of the team, like there's like 2 of them from Riyadh. So yeah, I guess they're all close to each other.
Yeah, I mean, we have only been together, or worked like for a couple of weeks, but definitely once, let's say if there's a big enough tournament like boot camping is definitely an option. We are living like a short flight away from everybody,
Okay.
except to Henningsen, but
Yeah.
we'll figure that one
Yeah.
out.
He'll
Bit
walk
of a
over
dis-
here.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about like your scrim schedule? Everybody kind of has different scrim schedules. We've heard teams that scrim 6 days a week, and we've heard some that scrim, 2 or
Not at
3,
all.
and none at all. Just talk to Shoes Money Crew. So, what kind of time do you guys spend getting prepared for your tournaments?
Mostly it's like up to the head coach, Sometimes we invest like 4 hours, 6 hours. Like it depends on what we need to work on. Like either we scrim or we take like 2 hours of scrims, 2 hours VOD review, or 4 hours scrim, 2 hour VOD review. Like no scrims at all. We just do theory craft,
Mhm.
Just like depends on what the head coach wants to work on, like specific week. We work towards
Yeah,
like small goals.
Yeah, shout out to Sunik, the head coach. I mean, he's been pretty strict, but I can see the results. So I've been very happy with him. Like he's, let's say, the I don't know, catalysator of this roster at the moment, which is great.
Right.
He's the big boss of our roster.
Now,
Very
is Cynic
experienced.
over there with you, or is he still? He was in what, EU or NA for a little while.
No, he's in UK. I think
He's in
he lives
UK.
in
UK.
yeah. I think from London. I'm not really sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, UK. No, he worked with I can't even remember where he worked.
Flame,
Yeah, Copenhagen
Belgium
Flames
before.
and
Florida,
yeah,
And
Mayhem Academy. Yeah.
Mayhem
Yeah, the
Academy. Yes, yes.
Overwatch League team. Like one of the best coaches in the EU right now.
Yeah, definitely.
The
I
best
mean, let's
coach.
just put it this way: it's not easy to put a Middle Eastern team, into. Like I've I've struggled with that, so he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you guys scheduled for Open Division coming in 2019? Is that kind of what you're mainly aiming for?
Yeah, we're focusing mostly on open division.
Okay.
Like we play small tournaments here and then just to like get used to the tournament pressure. Like
Mhm.
tournament environment is like different from scrims,
Mhm.
We play as many tournaments. Like even if we lose, we get used to like mentality of players when they're losing, they don't tilt and stuff. But yeah,
So you
we
guys have
try to
quite a
play
bit
as
of LAN
much
experience?
tournaments. Yeah. I mean, as a roster, we played 2 LANs together. I
Okay.
played 3, but one like a very, very old one.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly we have
And
LAN experience.
and like that's maybe one, let's say, good thing about the Middle East, that like during the past 2 years, there's been opportunities for quite a few Overwatch lands actually. Like they're like small, like 8 to even like 16 teams with like $10,000 prize pool or so. But just the fact that many Middle Eastern players actually have, at least 1, 2, 3 smaller LAN events, on their belt, which then, like once we get to international stages and potential LAN events, at least, the guys have done that before, so you won't choke.
Used to the
So
pressure.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've definitely seen NA players that don't get the LAN experience that some of the regions that have more LANs, they get to LAN and they pretty much seize up. They go from being a top contender to just failing out first round.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad. I would love to see more LANs in all of the regions. I know that they're supposed to be going back to doing contenders finals at LANs, so we'll see how all that plays out.
I mean, to be fair, like when we played at the Saudi regional tournament, there was a lot of people in LAN, Like
Mhm.
the whole team was shaking. Like the desk where we had like 6 laptop computers, it was just shaking from how much like panic we got. Now I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure like if we go to another LAN, we're gonna be comfortable.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, as a team manager and seeing, many players go to their first LAN and like when you go from backstage and you tell the guys, go up there, and then you can see the fear in their eyes. But then, like, as soon as it's your second LAN, like it just kind of it's just one thing that every player kind of has to do one time, experience it, and then afterwards it's like, okay, well, I've done this before. Like now it's like I'm playing in my own living room, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So now we've got a set of community questions coming from Sergio Camposant. I'm gonna butcher that name. This is coming off of Reddit. So his first question here is, what's your ping when you're playing against EU teams? He had heard that Aztec was based in France during Open Division trials, and do you guys know if that is true or not?
Aztec's team was like they signed up under like France because they didn't want to get kicked out of the tournament,
Mm.
but they played from Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
The ping, I mean, we get 100 plus ping, sometimes under 100. I mean,
I'm
like
playing
when it
up to
gets like,
200.
Yeah.
100, 130 even,
Right.
you know.
but ping doesn't really affect you in team versus team play, you know. Like
Mhm.
it narrows down to like communication plans and executing
Yeah.
plans and stuff.
Like
Like
it's,
mechanical
let's say,
skill helps you, but not much.
yeah, like it's only like, let's say, on a tracer or something like that, where you really want that recall, like on the last possible timing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, also I've heard a lot of, and even myself, you know, when I go like travel and I play some Overwatch, it does feel like very different to play on, let's say, 20-30 ping, even for me who is like a pleb player. But like when you, I mean, it just gets that other vibe. But then when you have been playing here for like so long on 120 ping, you kind of like learn to almost like adjust to it, right?
Mhm.
Which is kind of sad, but that's just how it is. I mean, if you
Feels
always
more.
play the game like that, that's the game for you, right?
And then when
Plus,
you
like the meta's goats, so ping doesn't really affect you.
true, and
Just
then when
mouse
you
one in the
get into the environment where you're all on a 30 ping, I mean, we've seen it with other players who play overseas. Who are you playing for Fusion University when he's playing on high ping? He would land his blades and Genji kills, but as soon as he got on that lower ping, he just jumped up because he was so used to the disadvantage. Sometimes the disadvantage is
Yeah,
a little bit of a training tool for you.
advantage.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, if you go to a LAN with different ping, they should give you time to get used to it, you know? They
Mhm.
should give you
Right.
like 1 day before the tournament just so you can grind comp and stuff. Get used to the
Mhm.
Yeah.
thing. They can't really expect you to go there and like 1 day you pop off. You're gonna be bad.
Yeah. So his question, I'm not 100% sure if this is something you guys know or not, is are there plans for more relevant tournaments in Middle East in 2019? So do you think the scene is going to keep growing? There's going to be more LANs and online tournaments and stuff?
Yeah, definitely actually. Like
Yeah.
there's more community cups in Mena now. Like if you go over Battlefy, you see a lot of Arab tournaments. I mean, not all of them have prize pools, but I mean it's starting. You know, you gotta start somewhere.
Yep.
Maybe
Yeah, and I
like
do
another
also
Saudi
think
regional
that,
tournament.
yeah, now especially when they opened officially, you know, Middle East and contenders and this, I think that even the tournament organizers will be like more interested
Yeah,
in the game.
Yeah.
the scene is starting to grow bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, our scene is already big compared to like other local scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that actually
Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of
honestly, the player base is like surprisingly big in the Middle East for
Yeah,
Overwatch.
it's really
That's for
really
sure.
big.
Oh, perfect. That's actually the next question from
Oh,
the Reddit user. How popular is Overwatch in the Middle East? And are there a lot of esports fans over in the region?
I mean, most like players are kind of casual, but they really like watching team versus teams. Like, oh,
yeah.
Inferno's playing Oshtek again. Oh, like there's it gets up to like 1,000 viewers, you know, live,
Hmm.
and then like the replay gets up to like 50K views. Like, there's a lot of people who are interested watching. Not all of them like playing, but yeah, yeah. And the scene is really big. There's a lot of players, especially like in Masters and Diamonds. It's like full of Arabs now.
Oh, cool.
And like all of them are coming from console. There's like countless console
Yeah,
players
yeah.
because of tournaments.
Right. So there's not a lot of console tournaments, and so most people will just realize that PC is kind of the way that you need to go
Yeah,
play
I
competitively.
mean, most of them just play console because of friends, but now they notice like the main scene is in PC. You know, contenders
Mhm.
allowed Mena now.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of them want to come over.
She kind of also
Surprisingly,
answered.
they're all getting GM plus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're
Don't
actually
make
getting
me
good
feel bad.
placements.
Like I'm still hard stuck on gold.
Just use the controller, forehead.
Yeah.
We've seen it work over here, so I mean,
Yeah. Works for Insa. At least it did. So you kind of already answered the next question, but like his question was like, how is the regional tournament, the Saudi regional tournament viewership compared to EU tournaments?
I mean, live there was like up to like 2K at LAN.
Oh, wow.
2K people, maybe like 1.5. Not sure. Not sure. But there's also like 1.5 on YouTube watching it. Also, like they didn't allow us to stream on Twitch because of the World Cup and the contenders. There was
Okay.
like stage, the Paris stage, I think, which is like
Right.
kind of it sucks because the plan was to stream it on Twitch, but then Blizzard didn't allow us to stream it. But
Right.
we got like 1.5K viewers. Now the replay has like 67 or 70K views. Which is
oh
really
wow.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was a big tournament and like $260,000 in the prize pool. So obviously it got like a good exposure globally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So now, we actually just had a question come in from chat. If you guys don't mind me asking,
No, not at all.
man, I'm gonna mess this name up.
Again.
Irads. I'm gonna go with Irads. Wants to know who's the best support main in Mena in your guys' opinions.
Boostio. No question to it.
I
He's
would
the
say
best.
I would go and Boostio as well.
Yeah, he's also like one of the best shot callers right now in Mena.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
team try to pick him up for his shot calling.
If Twitch has any other questions, I know there's one special thing I have to say. If nobody else has any other questions, we'll give it
Hey,
just
Twitch
a quick
chat.
minute.
Twitch chat is always right.
Oh yes.
It's usually mostly spam and stuff, but we occasionally get some really, really good questions. We'll occasionally get copy pastas from our guests. Like whenever we have a guest, we'll get their copy pasta from their streams in on ours, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So
It doesn't look like anything else is really coming through. But I do have. Oh wait, hold on.
we got two more. Here we go.
Zeister wants to know: do you guys use Arabic or English comms?
Mainly English, like in and out of scrims, because I mean, well, first of all, we have a Danish main tank. Second of all,
And an English code.
and an English. Like, how do you expect to get coached if the coach doesn't understand?
Right.
Yeah, well, like most calls are made in English, so like we're all on the same page, and we can get coached. I know
makes
some
sense.
MENA teams speak in Arabic, and like, look, they're uncoachable. Like most calls are in like Arabic. The coach is more lost than the players when he's trying to coach. It's really funny.
Yeah.
And then he had a follow. Zeister had a follow up. Why a Danish tank?
Oh, you want to take this one, Antigon?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Why a Danish
tank?
Yep.
Why a Danish tank? Because he sounds like the Fran.
Lots of let's go dudes and I'm shattering. Let's go. Hog chip. Nice. Okay, so then Smoy.
I need 1 minute,
six-
please. Be right back.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Ask,
Into. Shout out to Into.
This is a question for you, Klaus. Are there plans to expand and get a QOP team?
Okay.
That game with the runner with the
Yes, it's this game, with the. So basically, it's a good friend of ours, and actually the person behind this brand in the Middle East. So a very big support of us, and but no, we're not expanding to that. I'm sorry.
No.
Bummer.
Kyle,
I
if
do
you
want
want
to
to.
mention.
Oh, yep.
No, just like one thing that I really like about the Middle Eastern scene is that, back in the days, 2 years after we started, before, like when we started, obviously sponsors were very reluctant into Overwatch and esports in general. And now we're at a stage where, we have a lot of support from sponsors, and I mean, they are in the chat trolling us. So,
Right.
it's a great to see like the brands getting activated in the esports field in the Middle East. So thank you for that.
Cool. So I guess this will probably be our last question here. So, Irad says, Oshtek was the #1 team in MENA last year. Do you think that YaLLa will be the #1 team in end of this year / 2019?
Well, before we start that, I just want to say that YaLLa was the #1 team like 2 years ago, and Antigon can answer if we're gonna be that again. If
think he might
he's
have gotten his
online
food.
anymore. Okay, well, Ryan, you want to answer that? Because if I do, I just sound cocky.
Okay. Yep, I think we are going to be the #1. Like Antigon said, some MENA team are uncoachable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure like we're gonna be #1 in Overwatch League, not MENA.
Oh.
Cool.
Okay.
You go big or
That's
go home.
confident.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, that's what you got to do.
I like it. I like it.
Sorry,
For
I'm
the
back.
stars. No worries.
Uh,
The question was just if you guys think that you're going to be #1 MENA team next year.
100%. No, this year.
That's okay. Fair enough.
Right now.
Fair enough.
Right now.
He didn't even hear the everything else. So he just straight in.
I didn't need to.
Cool. Well, I think if there's any other questions, I think we're about done.
yes. I do have one special shout out request from Twitch chat. YWI Cloud says, Klaus, I love you.
Oh, thank you.
But
Thank you.
other than that, we are going to wrap it up. So why don't each of you let the listeners know where they can find you and the team on the internet? Klaus, let's start with you.
So first of all, I mean the whole team you can find at YaLLa Esports, and then my own Twitter is YaLLa_Klasu. So it's like Klaus, but you switch that one letter, like that,
At Antigon. Mainly I use Twitter. But yeah.
Ryan __OW.
All right.
Double underscore. That's why it's so long. That underscore.
It took me a minute trying to
Mind
find him on
blown.
Twitter. But that's going to wrap it up for us. As always, if you're an audio listener or if you're sitting in Twitch chat, go ahead and smash that follow button. We really appreciate all of the follows. If you have the time and you feel like it, we could always use iTunes reviews. Real simple. We read all of our iTunes reviews on our live show. 1 star, 5 star, it doesn't matter. They all help for the viewership on the podcast side. But other than that, Kyle, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me at Kyle the Winner on Twitter. That's WYNNER.
And you can find me over on Twitter at ThornRain. You can find the show on Twitter at Blackwatch Report. There is no O in report. Twitter, they're not friendly. You can email the show, blackwatchreport@gmail.com. You can follow the show on Twitch over at twitch.tv/blackwatchreport. We record our main show live on Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern. Our intro music is the main theme song from Overwatch, performed by our very own Kyle Wynn. This has been a High Noon production. You can find all of our shows over at highnoonpodcast.com, and you can come and chat with all of the hosts over at the Discord at discord.me/highnoonpodcast. And with that, Blackwatch out.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Thorn.
Yeah.